Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining this session. Today, we are very happy to have Andis, the upcoming Shinta VR. Exciting to have you. Thank you very much. And we also have Cherry, which is from Philippines. And thank you for joining this.
Hi.
Yes, thank you for joining this great event, as well as someone from Singapore as well, as same as me. Thank you, Johnny, for joining this great event. We had very good event yesterday offline, and we do hope that as it did this before, the online will be also as successful too. And today we are great to have you guys to join us in these conversations. And the stage is yours. We'll go through the questions itself. I will be behind, but we will need someone to facilitate the questions, just to go through very nicely with it. Yeah. And then after that, we'll move on to each of the questions again. Then if there's a Q&A from the session side here, then we'll let the panelists and the speakers know about the questions that comes in. All right? Yeah. Okay, here
Sure.
it goes. Do you all have the questions with you? Just to facilitate very slowly on that. Yeah. Hand over to you. Anyone to start first?
Yeah, it's more on a brief introduction, right?
Yes. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. To introduce yourself, and then your background. Then after that, probably I will take the lead to go through the
I think we
questions.
let the ladies go first here.
We have only one lady from Philippines.
Oh, you are
Yes,
also a
yes,
lady, also.
yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We have Cherry to go first. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sherry Murillon from the Philippines, actually. So I'm the founder, the chief executive officer, and the lead innovator of CAWIL.ai. So CAWIL.ai is basically AI integrated computer vision tools. We make tools for IoT. So basically, we have deployed two tools already. One is for property management system, and the other one is for the environmental application. And I'm really very happy to be part of this event. So basically, we're really are very open on having a connection like this because, as you know, the topic itself is digital summit. So when we approach the industry 4.0 and the digital economy, we need to be connected. So I'm very happy to be part of this event. Hi everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
No.
Cherry. Thank you, Cherry, for this. Yeah. Intro. Yeah. Indeed, the topic is very exciting. Actually, the future is now. So, okay, we do have the two gentlemen here. Do you all want to tussle, or do you all want to to start someone first?
I'll let Pa Andy's go first.
All right, thank you, Pak Jody. Hi, everybody. So I'm very excited to join this Digital Summit C, and also when I saw the topic is mobile, digital, and metaverse age, and the most exciting part is to preparing brand for tomorrow. I mean, like, uh, want to talk about how brands can utilize all this technology, and especially for the metaverse. So me myself, Andes Rizky, I'm the CEO of the Shinta VR. It's a virtual reality company that we established in 2016, 6 years ago. At the time, of course, there is no term about metaverse. So it's more likely in Indonesia, like I'm an alien, like bringing VR headsets everywhere. But in the first 3 years, we can say our business is developing so greatly because we also have services so many companies and also institutions, not only in Indonesia but also in some countries. And in 2019, we launched our product for education and for human capital, for training, for soft skill training and hard skill training. And also right now we are also, of course, we are preparing to going into the metaverse, how we can create based on our research and based on our fundamental product, we can create the more democratized metaverse for everybody. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy this panel session. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Pak Andis. Yes, this is very exciting. Yes, next we have Johnny Young. Yes, please,
Hi,
please
good afternoon,
introduce your background.
everyone. Yeah,
Yes.
selamat siang, apa kabar to every audience itself in Indonesia. My name is John Young. I'm the board member and head of payment innovation and partnership for Jeripay. So Jeripay started since 2017. We are basically doing a lot of solutioning for malls, malls that have loyalty program. We help them to digitalize, especially the vouchers, from physical voucher to digital vouchers. We also help them to do the digitalization of a membership card into the mobile app. So most of the mall have their own mobile app. So for us, we do the interface in the merchant outlet to allow instant rewarding of points compared to in the past they have to scan the receipt to earn points and so forth. So it becomes very tedious for the members, and also there is a pilferage along the way. Because of this, we found an opportunity, and then we started to spin off to other area like food ordering app for the mall. We even do prepaid for malls and so forth. Yeah, I'm happy to be here to be part of the panelists with great people from Indonesia, the Andes, and Sherry from the Philippines. And I'm looking forward to answering any questions that I can answer along the way.
You definitely can contribute a lot of things. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the topic today is very interesting. Actually, we are in the metaverse, age. That is the buzzword that is coming along. And this word is can be very scary to me also as a producer. When I look at this word itself, it's also quite a but it's scary to me to learn so much things that is technological that is happening here right now. And then that include just AI, AR, VR, the blockchain, drones, and then IoT. So these are even the 3D printing, all those things in the manufacturing that is doing right now. So, and many others creating services for this new digital world that is happening for this, that is happening. So it is can be very scary, and yet it can be, and yet we need to embrace what is going to happen. So yeah, today I'm very happy to have you, the three panelists, to join me for these conversations. So our first topic is the impact of new digital world for businesses to communicate with their customers. Share your views on the potential, the growth, that I have mentioned, and also the changing of how it is done, and also the reinforcing the role of the people to drive the growth in the business. Yeah. So by adopting all this, what sort of, what you will think about, what is going to happen on it. So, can we go for ladies first? Can I always invite the ladies first? All right. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Cherry. Yes.
So, as you know, digital transformation has been accelerated during the COVID-19 uh, pandemic. So, there's the lagging and the immediate adoption. But I think it's the response to the market, because even though we know we are facing critical times and all, communication online, it has been the tools for really reaching out to people, to really keeping the business moving and kind of interacting, and most especially on the medical side, because as you mentioned, Janice, that uh, medicine has AI. It applies also VR, and so many things, even with the reconstruction, 3D reconstruction of other hardwares for that aids the medical side has been accelerated. But then again, really have to keep up with the development. It's kind of the people are being left behind. I mean, In terms of the usual e-commerce and retail, there's still the gap. And based on kind of our experience in the Southeast Asian region, it's more on the connectivity and not on the application. Because if you are not connected, then you cannot reach out to people. So, marketing, branding, promotion, online is very crucial with the application and the connectivity. And as we all know, even though we are just selling, food, we want really to promote it to the people. But if the area is not accessible, then how can you sell? So for me, I think we the reinforcement should be more on the connectivity side, the information dissemination and education of the tools. Like Metaverse was kind of introduced just this year, and like people are really thinking that, oh, it's connected to Facebook and all. It's easy to have a recall because it was Facebook who really launched the overall Metaverse. But then again, what is Metaverse? In generic term, it's a cyberspace. When it comes to a cyberspace, it encompasses a lot, as you mentioned. It has VR, AI, anything, IoT, on demand, online, anytime. So that itself is very complicated. So connectivity, information dissemination, and education should be reinforced in order for us to understand how it works. So yeah, that's how I view that question. So yeah, maybe Anders can add something.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Andes. To
Yeah.
add in to reinforce your views. Go ahead. Yeah, it's gonna be very conversational and informal. You don't need to wait for me to, just go ahead
All
and
right.
even contribute in that. I believe you got lots of ideas.
Yeah. So thank you, Cherry, for complete some of the words that I want to mention. So I don't need to mention anymore. So actually, for the communication itself. So if someone questioned me that the impact of the new digital world for business to communicate with their customers, before we go to the metaverse terms, let's see TikTok. So in TikTok, this is the new media. This is the new way of people, absorb all the information in just 1 minute. So maybe in our age, I mean, like a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago, we need to see, let's say, uh, 10 seconds to 30 seconds video to judge is the promotional video good or no? Is this promotional video fit for me or no? But in this era, they just need to put they need to put shorter time than 30 seconds because the video itself is only 1 minute, so they need to think to communicate how we can communicate in less than 5 seconds or in less than 10 seconds. I mean, like maybe 5 seconds or 7 seconds, to attract or engage the way of the communication. So it's already changed when all the short video coming in term of the communication from brand to their customer. And now and after that, the pandemic attack us, and then we adopt all the technology. But we can see all the social media promotion is increased significantly. All the activities there, all the communication there, all the event have to be uh, created online. And then after that, 2 years after that, comes the term of the metaverse itself. So the metaverse itself, like Cherry mentioned before, is not only VR or AR. It's more complex than that. The metaverse itself is actually, I believe, it's a parallel world. It's the parallel world between the cyber or virtual and the real world. So when I talk about the parallel world, which means the utilities or the fundamental technologies have to interconnected between the cyber and also the cyber world and also the real world. So and yes, if we want to talk about this big complex system called metaverse, or maybe some people also call it omniverse, whatever the first is, this is the parallel world. So the interconnected between the cyber and virtual and the real world and all the utilities there. Again, it's not only VR and AR will have their how can I say have their big you know big part of it, but also AI, also for the payment system, also for the blockchain system, also for the hardware, the human interface system, and also for the creator economy concept, like more bigger than Twitter. Because if we talk about metaverse, the empathy, the feeling of the people who use or play in the metaverse, the emotional connection will be higher than only the social media. And also the most importantly, the infrastructure. And it's called a 7 layer of metaverse, that from experience to the infrastructure. So yeah, it's gonna be big things. It's gonna be, maybe take 3, 4, or 5 years later, then metaverse can be as massive as smartphone now. But yeah, as in the topics now, the future is now. So we are preparing to go to the metaverse era, when the information is not like not like this era for the social media, but in the metaverse, in Web3 community, especially, the information is really decentralized for everybody.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Andy, yeah, I think you're right about the metaverse is here. I mean, in fact, when I look at metaverse, it's no different from LAN gaming when I was young. So I mean, you used to play LAN gaming, and then you have character of our own, we have a handle of our name. So it is just a different way of presentation, or I felt that it is a bit of a hype, because you just give it a new name. It's like we talk about payment, because I'm in the payment industry for 10 over years. When you talk about online buying, I mean, there is VR goggles that you can go around the world to do shopping, and you can buy with your eyes in a way that you go to the shopping mall, you look at the item, and then you just fixated on it, and then you just basically buy it and put it into a shopping cart. I would say that the consumer itself was more demanding in terms of UX, the frictionless in terms of the engagement. And you're right in terms of technology today. A lot of our hosting services are on cloud. I mean, we will have at least 99.95% of uptime compared to the past. And I would see metaverse will definitely evolve. We may not, maybe by the time it's what you said, maybe 4 or 5 years later, it become omniverse, and maybe another name come out again. I think that is always evolving in this space. I would say that today, I mean, we as a consumer, and in last Monday, I got a forum. They were asking me, said, what do you think about the digitalization happening now around the world? I say we can't put a broad stroke to this digitalization, because it's all voiced now to a lot of factor. Country per se, what are you trying to solve? I mean, digitalization is nice. You're trying to solve a problem, like from my closer to me is payment. I mean, in Singapore, infrastructure is really there. You can have seamless payment. You have now transfer of funds to peer is immediate. In the past, it's like you had to wait for perhaps like after a day later or 3 day later. So there is a lot of convenience that is happening, because in Singapore, the digital adoption itself is very high. And you look at also the smartphone, the medium of a conversation itself is in English, so it's a lot easier to push it down. Compared to other countries, I mean, they would have a different challenges because, again, are we trying to solve a infrastructure issue? So again, these are all, so broad of a topic. I think future is now. Future is definitely now. Lots of things happening. We are in the right time now to be writing on it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it could be the right time, and I think it will come, especially the Web3 that is all happening. The Web3 community is happening, and then with the AI and machine learning over here. So we see there's a potential growth over here, and this. I think I believe all of us will see there's a creativity over here, right? Yeah. So all right, I'm going to move on to the second questions, and using the the three channels, imagine, create, and as well as innovate. So share your viewpoints and examples towards disruption. Things like machine learning, AI, VR, AR, metaverse adoptions, and other technologies. So share your views on that, about your viewpoints on towards this kind of disruptions that is going to happen in certain vertical industries or within your industries. What do you think? Ladies first.
So yeah, actually the question is kind of match what we serve right now in the AI industry, because our focus is more on the computer vision, meaning it's more on a visual side. Because I have observed in this generation is it's they're more on the visual, even like the videos, the TikTok and all. It's the creativity comes in because people will look at your ad or your promotion or maybe anything that you put in that platform, having a creative story. So I see that the vertical here for technology is the how we utilize the platform, how we use the platform, and how the platform serves our purpose. Like for the vision, for us, we are more focused on application, on IoT, and unmanned system. And for example, yeah, we want to really have this offline, I mean, limited touch points personally with our with the the risk of having uh contracted all those dangerous possible viruses. And vision has a lot to do with it. If you see and you know what to do, you can implement it and give a solution. And the next one, the hottest on international, more on the western and the Pacific region, is the autonomous vehicle. And I think here also in the Southeast Asian region, it has become another trend to, or another one that we want to watch out, the autonomous vehicle, because as they say, it also affects or lessens climate change. So impacts climate change. So there's a lot of focus on the vision side. So that's what we serve. That's also my focus on the AI. It's more on the vision. And if you are not that creative, you just say that, oh no, it's only applicable to retail and e-commerce. Like, it has a very broad application. So with that, on the business side, or maybe for you as a content creator, you know your audience, you know how to communicate it, then your creativity should be seen on that side. So, but then again, you need to innovate every now and then, because people, la- like the ones that we see in TikTok, there's a very good storyline. So as they say, it's not the technology, it's the story. So the innovation is the story of the technology. So whether it be more on the analytics, whether it be more on the payment system, whether it be more on the virtual reality, it's how you do the story on the VR, on the AR, or maybe on your payment system, having the uniqueness of your payment system addressing this, bugging problem of users not having to pay or getting their money immediately is an innovation. And in this age, there's no, we, they call it in science, no, everything is not, is replicable. It's more on the innovation. So I see that the market is big, application is big, adoption is everywhere, but you need to have a good innovation, a story. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting, Cherry, when you mentioned about storytelling because um, our as we as human since long time ago we really like storyteller. Not mentioning about metaverse, but mention it like a thousands years ago when like Babylon or Egypt, they have storytelling in their and in their buildings, like with pictures, with hieroglyph and something like that. So all of that is a storytelling. So I really agree about the storytelling is the most important thing to start the disruption, because from the storytelling we can see and we can feel the story about the environment around us. So when we understand about the story itself, and we have attention to what people needs, what people have needs and demand in common. So it's actually also we can get from all of story in all around us, right? And of course with the data, and like come from that we can create it, like a disruption that the people demand and the people needs. And after that, with the creativity, we can create all the storytelling, whatever the brand has, create the storytelling. And like when we can create the storytelling, and that goes to the imagination itself. So we can imagine, like we can put all that solution with the creative storytelling, and then goes to the imagination and how we communicate with them. I mean, like, I believe that if I talk to people about, like, maybe 5 years ago, if I talk to people about VR, or maybe Cherry, you talk about the AI, right? 5 or 6 years ago, not so many people understand about that, right? Of course, with the metaverse also right now. Yeah, I mean, like, all the description itself is will come to the imagination, how we can transfer the imagination into our solution. So in this perspective, maybe in the virtual reality sector, we already done several good initiative in education sector. We are not using a very fancy VR headsets. We only using, like a plastic cardboard one, but we make all the teachers in Indonesia can create their own virtual reality contents without coding. So we have that platform. So actually, we let the teachers to tell their storytelling to the students with the new media. So with this way, we can create more and more and more storyteller to to deliver the message of the disruption and then technology itself. So I think it's a very good combination. And also with the AI have so many potentials to to create and to create, combines the data and then makes decision from that. And it also can help so many people to create their own storytelling to solve their problems. And also if we talk again about the virtual reality, like the AI system can help people and students to learn, and how they can help to learn, because in virtual reality or in the metaverse, on the or in augmented reality, we can track their learning behavior when they're exploring the virtual world. We can track their, their decision, that we can track their, how they interact with the videos, how they interact with, the object, the 3D object, how they decide to answer the quizzes, how they decide to make the decision in the virtual world. So this AI also can be included in this particular things in education sector. So yeah, there's so many disruption will happen, in my opinion.
I think I cannot dispute with you guys, because you guys are the expert in this field on the AI and the virtual reality. And you got me thinking about, as what Andy was saying about the teachers and being empowered to deliver storytelling through VR. I do part-time teaching in the university, to the undergrad, as what Sherry was saying, I cannot present with a PowerPoint only. It has to be, it cannot be wordy. It has to be very interactive, or else they will just lost in translation. And the teacher itself is having very hard time now, because to get the attention, to be up to date with the consumer, with the student. I think the VR itself is good analogy that what you have mentioned. And it is true, storytelling has been an ancient art, but not have till today. I still haven't seen many people have master it, and there is still a lot of improvement to be done. And I would say that the way how we deliver content, how we engage, whether is it student or consumer, has evolved, and is very demanding today. So innovation itself is the forefront, because if you stop innovating, basically you lose more and more customer. And because of that, metaverse, I think it is still in the very early stage. But I would not want to drill on it, but because we started with a lot, like, and as what Andy said, from AI, we started to do data analytics, we started to do analyzing of information that we gather. We started to be able to do it more effectively now, because of the cloud, and then you can consolidate all database into one. And then from VR point of view, is that the bandwidth itself is a lot stronger now. The devices' pricing is getting more cheaper now. I would see that in the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, today if you ask me to wear a VR, you get tends to be a bit giddy. We're not used to it. But I think in times to come, that will be resolved, by way of a better way of connecting to our eyes. Because the current moment, we need a bit of science to look at how our eyes function in terms of how we see, which is connected to our brain. So I would say that during the time, like about 6 years ago, I was doing my consumer insight in a master program. I was being taught by a renowned neuroscientist, and we were still trying to discover, or still trying to learn about how our neural itself is working. Because as what Andy had said, you can actually measure in terms of, in the AI, in a metaverse environment, you can actually measure in how the development of a student is, where it is progressing, what it is deficiency, what is its challenges. If it's just like, for example, you put a VR on this kid and say that, to cross the river, how is it going to cross the river? Then you will see a lot of reiteration in terms of how this boy will cross the river. Whether he will just say, "Oh, I know, I'll cut down the tree and make a boat, and then I will just sail it towards the other side of the river, or I will just walk over, because I have no fear." So then you start understanding the developmental of a student or a kid. Well, I'll come into the negative aspect of it later on. I'll keep the good one in the last.
Thank you so much. Yes, I truly agree with that. How we deliver, has evolved, and innovating is so continuously innovating is so important, especially when it comes to the word disruptions, and things like that. And with all the technology supporting it, and I also truly agree that when I wear the VR that time, the headset, wow, it was really very goggy, and really there should be some changes on that if I play too long with it, the VR. Yeah. So, but the good thing is also, I can see something much more which I don't see in reality. Yeah. So thank you so much for this inputs. We'll move on to the third questions. Discuss on the benefits and limitations of these capabilities. So we are looking into limits as well as benefits of these capabilities and the adoption of technologies on improving customer experience. Customer experience is so important these days right now, and customer satisfactions, brand loyalty, and informed decision making. I think just now, things like behaviory, and then from behaviory you can have cost savings also, and the productivity and creativity. So there's a lot of dimensions. There are a lot of things that we can look into that. So bring this on and share your views on the benefits as well as the limitations. Cherry first.
So basically, digital transformation has become more affordable right now. Yeah, going to the metaverse and integrating a lot of crossover of platform, like you can do Shopify and other stuff, and also TikTok, and even the 1 minute or the real video has been adopted by Facebook already. And yeah, this front runner in social media platform, they really make it affordable, and that's a good thing, especially yeah, in the Southeast Asian region, when somewhat we only follow on the trends of the West and Pacific region. So having that template makes it more easier for us to adapt to the technology. But then again, uh, the thing that I see that there's lesser adoption in our region is, again, more on the connectivity or infrastructure side. There are still areas in even here in our location has very not so good connection. So that is one of the cons of the adoption. And of course, hardware or wearables are a bit still expensive right now. And it's good to hear that Andes has already taught, or kind of taught some teachers how to really create their own hardware and just uh, do the VR thing. So that's a good, the idea of really making it affordable. And I see that it's more on, also the constraint is on the delivery, because the brand and loyalty is based on the delivery. Like, how will I stay with this company when it delivers what I don't really like payment system is not so good, I have a hard time really understanding their app, something like that. So it's the customer satisfaction, in my opinion, is more on a based on the delivery of the service or the product. So if it is not really according to what the consumer is expecting, or maybe it doesn't address the pain point really. So brand loyalty is an issue. So me, I will move to another payment system if your system is not really accommodating me, something like that. Or if the hardware is expensive, or even on the AI side, if you know in our system, we only have 3 steps in implementing the AI. Why? Because one, it's really very tedious so to really apply AI. So we kind of uh, narrow it down in 3 steps, so we can also easily discuss it with our client, because it's not every day that they give you time to discuss your technology. So we focus more on addressing the problem, so that we can deliver what they want in their implementation or company. So what I see right now, to have this brand loyalty, consumer following, and moving forward with the affordability and price, is how you deliver, because you can always make it affordable. But how can you make it affordable? How will you deliver it? So that I see is important, and it should be reinforced, or really have a more focus in putting your system in place for the digital adoption. So yeah, maybe Johnny or Andes can add more details.
Yeah, it's interesting to talk about the benefit and limitation nowadays in terms of the technology adoption, because right now, me as a consumer, if I put myself as a consumer, I have so many channels to get the information. My Instagram right now is full. When I scroll my Instagram now, the it's full of new car and new houses. So when I wake up and then I open my phone, and then I have time to get a coffee every morning, and open the Instagram every day, every morning. Now I see the car and houses, right, and some trips, some tourism trips. So I mean, like, and then I open again my TikTok to see what is the trend right now, what is the trend today, and I open my Twitter to get to know what is the Twitter trend today. And with only these three platform, I get so many information as a customer from brands. For example, in Twitter, there's so many brands right now tell their storytelling in Twitter using the Twitter threads. Sometimes the brand directly mention about the brands, but sometimes they have another way to tell the story from other people's. So it looks like organic story, but yeah, we know that this engineer story. So there's so many information me as a customer get in just maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I open my smartphone in just for 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. So imagine that if this AI, VR, AR, and the blockchain system with all the NFT there, put aside, put also all in with this new media. So the benefit is really, we can say, people will get so many information in shorter time. And when we apply the metaverse or the immersive technology also, and with combined with the AI, people also can feel the emotion of this information, because it will really, expanding their visual abilities. When they see VR, when they put their VR, they can see the message of the brand. When the brand itself, for example, in the metaverse, there is some brands put their buildings there, and people can go in, and then people can see, oh, this is the vision of this brand. Then they're in terms of this building, they construct the building, and they can have a storytelling about the vision of the company, and every people in this world can visit that buildings in the metaverse. So this way of the communication deliver the emotion. So that's why virtual reality also called empathic technology, that the technology that can deliver the empathic message. And like, but for to get all of this, like I said before, it could be, you know for the massive adoption, it could be took like maybe 4 or 5 years later, because I'm agree with Cherry, especially in Southeast Asia, especially in Indonesia right now. We are also still focusing, not only in the private company, but also collaboration with our government. We side by side to create, in the company side, we create the solution that can adopt by this condition, for like we did in like we already doing like until now in education sector. We don't need the fancy VR, but we just need the plastic cardboard, the cheap one, and the teachers make the VR content. So we let it all to them. Um, but in parallel, we also preparing for the more advanced technology, the more advanced VR with our government. And but to go to there, we also need the more sophisticated infrastructure to make it happen and to make it smooth adoption for 3 or 4 years later from now. So yeah, that's the I think that's the challenge, I think, and maybe in the psychology side, um, not in the technical side, maybe one more in the psychology side. When people consume too much information, it also sometimes make them overwhelmed with all kind of this information. So I think the thing that we also need to concern is about the mental health effect. When this with the all information and technology come, we also need to concern about the mental health issues, because people right now consume all the information at one time in the short time. So we need also to consider this.
Yeah, writing on Andy's mental health, I think just now I said there is a negative issue connotation. I think Sherry and Anders, you have highlighted a lot of the benefits and so forth. So I'll be the bad person, so I'll cover on the negative part of it. Um, so as I mentioned earlier on, I mean, there is so much of information overload. Just like what Andy said, we are bombarded by, cars, house. I think Andy, you're looking for cars and house recently, right? So I think the analytic is actually reading that you are looking at that.
Yeah.
so the downside is the privacy. So suddenly you get pop out with something that you just had accidentally click on it. Perhaps you talk about buying a motorcycle. Suddenly you just accidentally click on a motorcycle site, and then you keep getting the feed of motorcycle coming to you. I would say as a brand itself, it tends to be overload, right? So there would be it eventually become a negative connotation, because you keep bombarding me with the same thing. You guys, what are you trying to do? But the more closer to me was that when we did land gaming, when we were young, we had this problem. Our friends or our parents will always say, "How come you're not home yet? You have been out on somewhere, for more than 10 hours. Where are you?" Well, I'm playing games, and you are in a dark room. And now today, I mean, my greatest fear is that if there is no proper education, especially you talk about metaverse, you cannot distinguish between whether are you online or offline. That is the greatest fear I would think that will happen, because there will be possibly a split personality, because you like me now, I could be talking to you very confidently, but when I go into the metaverse, actually I'm very shy. I don't even talk. So of vice versa. So you could be very adventurous. You fight a war together. You say, "Buddy, come, let's go." But in real life, you're just stuck in your own cocoon.
Yeah.
And that is my only fear. I would say it need to be a lot more education, both uh, parents, educator, and so forth, to be able to share that there are downside. I mean, on the positive side itself, technology is going to be there. I mean, let's face it. No one is going to stop it, and you can't be stopped. But I would say the early intervention, early education itself makes a company brand more valuable. So you need to be able to show that you are concerned of well-being of your user, you're concerned of the well-being of a consumer. and that will probably be primarily, I would say that will be very important moving forward.
Thank you, thank you. This is a very good. I saw a lot of limitations there. Also, I think it's truly mental health is so important, and the over information is really flooded everywhere. And of course, privacy is also important, because I think, like, I agree, I totally agree. Because when I turn on my Instagram, I get notification from there that says that, hey, you are going to be, your privacy is switched to, private, or private, or public. I also got feel about that, actually. So yeah, things like education, it draws upon it, and it really is, in terms of our younger generations, or be it our businesses. Also, I think this is going to be very important. Yeah, thank you all this kind of information. I learned myself also. Yeah. Okay. We are going to the last questions, and I would like to rethink about the future is now, and give us your thoughts, whatever that you have in mind. Are you all building, going to have think of things of like platforms presence? What do you think, in what areas that you would think that that can share to us? And things like the advanced technology, things like even a physical product, like, I think like what Andrews did share about earlier, but probably can give us more insights in terms of much more beyond education. So yeah, do share with us on that. We are going to move on to the last question then. All right, and then we can, at the same time, we can do the summarize of this session itself. Okay, yeah, Cherry, thank you.
Yeah. So again, thank you. So yes, the future is now. It's unstoppable. Like our experience for the past 2 years, digital transformation has been like 1,000 times accelerated, and uh, to be more specific, the platform is, or the tools are already out there, like the wearables and all. It has continued to evolve and kind of adapt to the need of a person. And it is, what I think is needed is really on how to utilize it, especially like Andis mentioned that how about the mental health? How long will I engage myself to this application, or maybe interacting with these people, or accommodating, looking at all the nice cars, so like that. So yeah, again, in terms of really adopting or having the future in front of us, is more on educating ourselves, having the limit, or giving the limit on understanding how it works. Like, I mean, it's more on the vanity side, but when I look at a car, or we have maybe similar interests with Andy's, like I've been looking at cars lately because, mobility is still a problem. Uh, I have a price range and like a model. So beyond that, I won't look at anything else. So maybe that's also a way to regulate yourself, that oh, I will have this model to look up to, and kind of price range to look up to. And also with the application that we are really putting into our everyday lives, like TikTok. I mean, even my daughter is kind of immersed in TikTok. So I always tell her that you should limit yourself sharing things online, because once it is already shared, everything is public. So if people kind of, splice or do something with the video, you cannot really regulate it anymore. And that is the scary part of the future, because even though we want to be private, but then again, we are pulled to the online and kind of entice us with other features of it. So yeah, regulation, understanding of the function maybe is important, especially in regions that have kind of still learning, like the metaverse. You know, it's really kind of advanced, and it's a buzzword, and people are keep on really kind of saying, oh, we're kind of implementing metaverse. But even with the blockchain, when I first kind of heard it way back 2019, are you implementing blockchain? I said to them, I can implement blockchain, but still do you have the funds to kind of support the development? Because implementation is easy if you have funds, right? Because still up until now, blockchain is very expensive. So that is what I tell to my client. You want blockchain, you need to have a budget for that. So something like that. It's really a very sophisticated application, and the constraint there is the funds. So if they're willing to really shed off that amount, then there's no problem with that. Still, bottom line is, what do I need? How will the future serves me now? Like, I want a car, but what type of car that will last maybe for the next 5 years? And the next 5 years is another development, another innovation, and of course I would be left behind if I will not adapt. So there's everything out there, but still we need to regulate ourselves. And maybe tend to kind of streamline also on what we can afford, even with the education side, because with all also with me working, I also have projects with the government really, and I'm when they ask me how can we implement this, so I ask them what type of maybe tools do you have so we can match it, make it more affordable. So it's not really how much I will earn, but how much will the people adapt to it. Because I think the success of your company or your tech depends on the user. Maybe you have high, expensive, sophisticated solution, but nobody's using it, so it's useless. So that those considerations are really important in having the future in front of you. The future is in front of you, but who's using it? That's something that maybe for us, uh, tech developers or tech companies should always consider that our technology is based on our user. So yeah, you can chime in on this.
Yes, goes to you again. This.
Yeah. So yeah, there's so many things that if you talk about if you talk about tomorrow technology, but the things that I felt right now, um, you know, if we back to when I'm in high school, like I already use the strongest handphone in the world, Nokia. So it's called the strongest because yeah, even though it's thrown down from fourth floor, it's never break. Um, and then we use all the smartphone with the all the you know touching technology. So this is very fast. I mean, like when I'm in high school and now I'm a 30 something years old, and it feels very fast. And but when I starting to build this company, VR company, and then goes back from my establishment, my company establishment, and then goes 3 years or 4 years. It's getting faster when I compare when I'm in high school to the university. Yes, it's fast, but right now it's getting faster. So sometimes, as the innovator, as the entrepreneur itself, I feel like, whoa, this is very fast. This is very fast. Like sometimes when I open my laptop and searching the news, searching the new technology, there's always every day new technologies happen and new technology created and new invention created every day, every morning. So it's really getting faster and faster and faster. So is it true that when we what we are talking now, tomorrow is today? This is true because if we talk about tomorrow, today we see the news about the new upcoming technology. Then tomorrow, maybe perhaps tomorrow we see the news, it's another different technology, like it's just 1 day or 2 days, there's another technology, there's another technology. So with this great accelerating and great expansion about this technology adoption itself, I think we need to consider to have as a brand, maybe, or as a company, or maybe as a lecturer, or maybe as a students, we need to concern about to every day we are learn about what upcoming technology will coming this year or next year or next 3 years, because it will be very fast journey. It will be more faster than 10 years ago. And if we are not preparing for this, if we're not jumping and make some a little research and development to jump in on it, and I think later on, maybe 1 year later or 2 year later, we really don't know what technology that really fit with our brand to use, and also what technology that really fit with our demands. Because with more and more information that and more faster information that we absorb, we don't we I think we as a person will, if we not jump into this research and development, we not really know what we need. That's the I think that's the the most fundamental problem, when people with all this information and technology adoption and acceleration tends to bring to them and or drive them, so they don't know what they need. They just feel like, okay, this is fancy, this is good, but actually they don't need that. So yeah, I think it's a time for us, all of us, to jump in, read all the technology, um, put find many information, as many as information in social media, or in the websites, and also in probably in books. Still, if you still have read the books, and maybe play and explore the metaverse, this very simple one, maybe Roblox or Minecraft or any MMORPG game. Try to jump in that game and see the behavior of the community. I think it will be help you to understand about upcoming behavior of our community. Mm.
Thank you. Yes, Johnny. Hello, Johnny. It's
Ah,
hang, I think.
Johnny.
Stone.
You freeze.
No, I think it's because
In
Wi-Fi.
connection.
Mm.
Yeah, his lag.
Yeah,
Yeah, his lag.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he's
his
back.
lag. Yeah.
Hello,
Johnny,
Johnny. Can you hear us?
Johnny, can you hear us? You are muted. Oh, okay. Yeah, can you hear us? I think you are lagged in your connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like he's not coming back. Oops, yeah, he's not
Oh,
coming back.
lost
Yeah,
connection.
it's lost connection. Okay, sorry, I really need to close up this session, and thank you very much, panelists, speakers. I bring in some things actually. Today is tomorrow. Tomorrow is today. So I really like this verse, and thank you very much for that. And we will end off this session, and we do hope to have you guys the next round. Yeah, this is a very interesting question for me, a very interesting session for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. This topic a lot, a lot. Okay, thank you very much. I will end off the session. Sorry, Johnny, you are back.
Yes,
We've
I
lost.
was dropped off. So sorry about
Yes.
it. We because it
Okay.
was so interesting, the bandwidth just got stuck.
Yes. Yeah. That we. Yeah. Could you probably maybe 1 minute of closure over here. I just that allows you to have one more minute. Yeah,
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
because we need
No,
to jump
yeah,
into.
yeah, it's very fast. And I think the future is now. I mean, I've been talking about topics of the robotics, AI, and the future of technology. I think to give the audience to take back what the future looks like for me is very simple. Just go and watch two very old movie. One is called the iRobot.
Oh,
The
okay.
other one is called
Yeah.
Minority Report.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just
yeah.
watch these two. It's good enough. You know the future is the past movie 20 years ago is a fiction. Today is the fact.
The
It
real.
It is
is.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get in touch with you to watch these two shows. I definitely will. It's a love of my
Yeah.
show.
So
It's
that's
a
my
love.
1 minute for every one of you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Agree.
Yeah. Thank you,
Agree. Thank
everybody.
you.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Yeah.
Have a
Yeah.
Continue
good
to
Bye
day to
be
bye.
safe.
Bye
everyone.
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Have a
Thank
good
you.
Yeah.
day,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.